Whenever the topic of AI comes up, it feels like you have to pick a team, right? Are you on team optimist, all excited about the future? Or are you on team pessimist, kind of dreading what's around the corner? But what if the real story is a whole lot more complicated than that? Well, today we're going to find out by diving into what tens of thousands of people actually think about AI.
So on one hand, you get these stories that they take your breath away. I mean, imagine this. A freelancer, misdiagnosed for nearly a decade, finally gets the right answer because an AI saw a pattern that all the humans had missed. We're not just talking about convenience here. For some people, this is literally life-changing.
And then, in the very next breath, someone else's life is completely turned upside down. A tech support specialist gets a pink slip directly because of an AI system. And there it is, the other side of the coin. Real, personal disruption. You've got hope, and you've got alarm, and they're happening at the exact same time. So how in the world do you make sense of this massive contradiction? Well, you listen. And in this case, we're listening to, wow, over 80,000 people. That's right. That's how many people from 159 countries sat down and shared their raw, unfiltered stories with an AI. They talked about their deepest hopes and their biggest fears. And what we're left with is probably one of the most detailed pictures we've ever had of our true relationship with this technology.
Okay, so let's start with the bright side. When people are dreaming about what AI could do for them, what does that future actually look like?
All right, take a look at this. What's so fascinating here is that the number one hope, at almost 19%, isn't about escaping work. Not at all. It's about being better at it. It's about achieving professional excellence. But look what's right behind it. These really personal desires, right? Transforming ourselves, managing the mental load of life, and just getting our time back.
And this quote? It just perfectly illustrates what professional excellence really means. It's not about becoming more robotic. For this healthcare worker, having AI handle all the paperwork meant they could finally be more human, more patient, more present. The tech took care of the boring stuff, freeing them up for the parts of the job that actually matter.
And here it is. Here's that time, freedom, hope in action. A software engineer in Mexico doesn't just see AI as a productivity booster. No, for them, it's the reason they can be there to pick up their kids from school. So the really important thing to see here is that for so many people, the end goal of AI isn't just to be more efficient at work. It's about having a richer life outside of it.
Okay, so we've seen the dream. But for every single hope, there's a worry lurking right behind it. Let's flip the coin and talk about the fears that are keeping people up at night.
Now, the biggest worry, and it's by a pretty wide margin, isn't that AI is going to be too smart. It's that it's going to be confidently wrong. It's unreliable. But right on its heels are those big, deep fears about the economy, our jobs, and losing our own sense of control.
Man, this quote just cuts right to the heart of that economic anxiety. It is such a powerful and honestly kind of chilling analogy. The fear isn't just about losing a job. It's about becoming completely obsolete in a world you thought you understood.
And here's the real problem with that number one fear, unreliability. It's not just about the AI making mistakes. It's that its mistakes create more work for us. Instead of lifting that mental load we talked about, it slaps a permanent fact-check tax on every single thing it gives you.
So we've got these incredible hopes on one side and these really deep fears on the other. But what this study found is something fascinating. They're not separate things. They are completely tangled up together. This is what we're calling the light and the shade of AI.
And this right here is the absolute heart of it. The exact same quality that makes AI so powerful is also what makes it so risky. The benefits and the harms, they spring from the exact same source. They're two sides of the very same coin.
Let's look at a real-world example. We all hope AI can help us learn faster, maybe even make us smarter. But can it?
So here's the light. For this lawyer in India, AI acted like this infinitely patient, totally judgment-free tutor. It helped them get over lifelong fears about their own intelligence. It unlocked a potential they never even knew they had. I mean, what an incredible story of empowerment.
But then, here comes the shade. The people who are on the front lines of education, teachers, they're seeing the complete opposite. They are reporting what they call cognitive atrophy, a real decline in critical thinking skills at rates way higher than anyone else. The same tool that helps one person feel smarter could be letting another person stop thinking for themselves.
And this just illustrates another one of these paradoxes so well: companionship.
On the left, you see AI as a lifeline, right? A support system for when no one else is awake. But on the right, that same support, it crosses a line. It becomes a substitute for real human connection, and it even becomes a source of guilt. The benefit and the harm are separated by a razor's edge.
Now, these tensions, they're not felt the same way everywhere on the planet. So let's zoom out for a second and see how our hopes and fears change depending on where in the world we live. Okay, so let's start in wealthier parts of the world. Think North America, Western Europe. Over there, the big hope is for AI to be sort of an executive assistant for your whole life, a tool to help manage the just overwhelming complexity of the modern world.
What they're dealing with isn't a lack of time, necessarily, but something one person called cognitive scarcity. Their mental bandwidth is just maxed out. I mean, think about this healthcare professional trying to juggle a crazy demanding job while also caring for aging parents. They want AI to help them think, to offload some of that massive mental burden.
But then you look at developing regions all across Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the story is completely different. The main hope isn't about managing what they already have, it's about creating something new. They see AI as a tool to build brand new opportunities from the ground up. And the key insight here is that they see AI as this great equalizer. For an entrepreneur in Uganda, for example, it's a way to get around the traditional barriers, like getting access to funding. It's a capital bypass. It's a chance to compete on the world stage based on how good your ideas are, not how big your bank account is.
So, at the end of the day, this really isn't a story of optimists versus pessimists. It's a story about tension. The hope for a better life and the fear of losing what makes us who we are, they're two sides of the same coin. And it's a coin that all of us are holding right now. So the real question isn't about which side is going to win, it's about how each of us will choose to flip it.